Hello and welcome to the coronacast comedy show. Here with Daliso Chaponda, stand-up comedian who normally would be performing in comedy clubs and theaters and around the world, but because of COVID, I am at home performing in my flat for whoever happens to tune in, be it on Twitch, on Facebook, on YouTube. You are all welcome. If you are in the room, please give me a message just so that I know that people can see and hear me. We are going to do a great episode today. Basically, over the course of the afternoon, I asked for suggestions on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram saying, what do you want me to make a joke about? I put the gauntlet out there. I said, give me any subject. I will make it funny. Then I looked through all the subjects. I picked 10 and I wrote 10 jokes on the subject. I'm going to do 5 of those, and then there's going to be a short interval where I'm going to talk to people in the chat room. If you have any questions you'd like to ask me, this is when you will have the opportunity to ask them. Anything you'd like me to talk about, put it in that little section. In the interval, I'll deal with them. And then there will be 5 more jokes which I have written over the course of the day. The subjects which are going to be coming up is schoolwork, coconuts, breakfast cereal, racism, Filipinos, restrictor item selling. I can't even read all of them, but if you look at the comment, if you look at the little image over there, they are all of the subjects which are coming up. So I hope we're going to be in for a great ride. Before I get started, let me just take a look at who is here. Hello, people. Hello, people. Hello, Munir Mere. I did notice you first. Habdo Abdella. Hello, Michaela Evans. Hello, One for All. Is there anyone from Facebook? If you're watching me on Facebook, please just put in a comment so that I know that I am indeed broadcasting there. But without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so first suggestion which I will do a joke about was at Doxo Cubes asked me for a joke about schoolwork. Now the interesting thing at Doxo Cubes is I went to an interesting high school. I went to a school which most people got there on scholarships. In fact, it was a very high academic level, right? It was very hard to get into. People were trying to get into it from all over the world. So it created this kind of weird world where everybody was hyper intelligent, right? We had cliques. You know, schools always have cliques. Like you've got the geeks and you've got the jocks and stuff like that. But we had like scholarship kind of cliques. So we had, the science geeks and the history geeks and the jocks who used to beat us all up. That was the chess club, right? So, essentially, it was a very interesting, weird reality to be in where everyone was hyper intelligent. It created the case where some of my friends, I have a friend who thought he was dumb, right? I have a friend who, because he was at the bottom of the class of this very overachieving school, he thought he was dumb. So when he graduated, he left the school, applied to crap universities, and then was shocked that he was so clever because he'd spent all his time surrounded by intelligent people. So, the moral of the story is if you think you're dumb, you need dumber friends, right? If you think you're ugly, find uglier people to hang out with. You are only as ugly as your surroundings. You know what I also realized is I usually open the show with an old joke to get me into the rhythm. I totally forgot to do that. So we're going to backtrack and I'm going to do my old joke. Though actually that one seemed to work okay, but here we go. So the old joke, which I'm going to do, is a joke about Christmases. Because when I was growing up, we always got terrible gifts. I remember we never got anything I wanted. And one day I had enough and I went to my dad and said, Dad, why does Santa Claus go to the neighbors? Gives them the big remote control car. Then he comes here and gives me this little metal one. And my dad said, look, you have to understand, Santa Claus is a huge racist. And I know I'm not the only one who's been there, where my favorite thing to do before Christmas was I'd sit around the house with all the catalogs, right? from my dad's businesses. And at the back of the catalogs, they had pictures of the toys you could order. And I'd sit there with a felt tip pen and I'd circle the toys that I wanted. And I'd just say to myself, one day, when I'm going to have my own money, one day when I'm rich, I'm going to buy this for myself. Now I'm older, I can afford the toys, I don't want them. But I haven't changed that much. Now I look at women who are out of my league and I'm like, one day, when I'm rich, one day. Also, I forgot to say, if you enjoy a joke, be very aware that I am without an audience. So please put in the comments, put LOLs, put comments, just so that when I look back, I can know which jokes are working and which jokes aren't working. But you don't need to tell me which ones aren't working. Just tell me the ones you like. Because I do not like most human beings, I do not enjoy criticism. Let us keep going. The third suggestion we have is from @Segmeister. @Segmeister asked me to do a joke about breakfast cereal. Now, I'll tell you about breakfast cereal. It's a very, very difficult world. Because if you think about the mascots, right? The breakfast mascots, there is no opportunity for advancement. All of them have hit upon hard times. Like, Captain Crunch. All these years, Captain Crunch is still a captain. Huh? He's not been promoted to a brigadier. He's not been promoted to a colonel or something, right? By now he should be an admiral. But no, Captain Crunch, he's looked down on because he's associated with cereal and the army will not promote him. Also, Tony the Tiger from Frosties? He tragically was shot by Joe Exotic. Very tragic day for all the people of Cereal Land. But speaking of cereals, the person who made most of the cereals which have become famous nowadays, Kellogg, was a bizarre fellow. He was a very bizarre fellow with lots of bizarre beliefs. He was a doctor, but he also had really weird fringe beliefs, and that was part of what he was doing. And things such as he believed, right, that sex was dangerous, right? And he actually believed that excessive masturbation could lead to madness, which is ridiculous. I hope you enjoyed your joke @Segmeister. Okay, we move on to @ig.jxsh.ig. That's a very bizarre title you have. But @ig asked me to do a joke about racism, right? Racism. And racism has been in the news. I got to tell you about this thing. So some of you probably have already seen on Twitter or on Instagram, essentially, there's these two kids in America, right, who got in trouble because they posted a racist TikTok, right? They tried to make a funny TikTok. And what it was they got a little piece of paper and they wrote the N-word on it, right? And they're like, this is what we're going to create, like a cake, right? And then they opened a sink and they started throwing in the ingredients, right? And all of the ingredients were racist stereotypes about black people. So it was like, okay, let's toss in some, they like watermelons. They rob white people. They leave their kids to fend for themselves. And I gotta tell you, I was offended, but I was not offended as a black person. I was offended as a comedian. Yes, that is very bad joke writing, little kids, right? The problem which you have found is you came up with a good premise. I'm gonna tell you, it's a good premise. The idea of baking a cake of a race and putting in aspects of that race, right? But the mistake they made, well, they made a number of mistakes, but the mistake they made in the joke writing part of it is they put in one stereotype, another stereotype, and then we all knew where it was going. As soon as they did watermelon and then every other thing, there were no surprises, and jokes need surprise. You need to surprise people. If I did exactly what you expect, you'd be bored. So what they should have done is they should have said, watermelons. Robbing white people. Years of systematic oppression by a system which is stacked against them. You know what I mean? Like, surprise me. Do something unexpected. But it's been a very complicated thing which has happened to them, right? Because I'm going to say, of ways to ruin your life. It's a really dumb way to ruin your life. I mean, they've been expelled from school. One of them was a wrestler, right? And it was going to go to this good university. No longer is going to be. And can you imagine ruining your life over that? There's so many times you've watched, old people who are like, I could have been great. I could have been a contender. But it's usually something like, but then, I tripped and I tore a tendon. But over your own stupidity, it's a very tragic way to ruin your life. And I'm angry at these kids also because they've made me have sympathy for them. Because they've, lost their jobs. They've been getting lots of hate online, lots of shame online. Some people have been sending them death threats and stuff like that. And now I feel sorry for them. I'm like, why are you making me feel sorry for a racist, man? I feel sorry for these kids, right? And I think part of the reason I feel sorry for them is because they are so young. They are so young. And usually when someone gets in trouble for doing something racially dubious and possibly ruins their career, they're usually old. Like when Roseanne tweeted chimpanzee faces to represent a black person and lost her show, you couldn't really feel that sorry for her because I'm like, you got millions in the bank anyway, right? So maybe you've not got your show anymore, but you'll be fine, right? But at the beginning of these kids, I also feel angry at their school. I feel angry at their school. Can't you teach these kids? I'm not saying teach them not to be racist, but teach them to be racist in private. How do people not know that the internet can ruin careers? It's done it so many times. How do you not know that if you have racist thoughts, keep them to yourself? Don't broadcast them. Everybody's looking at TikTok. Everybody's looking at Twitter. I think children need an extra class. They should be English, French, history, and surviving the internet. Things on surviving an internet, like if you want to send a dick pic, you need to do it on something that's crypto protected, right? Crypto protected. Also, if you want to be racist, do it in private. Don't film it. Don't do it on the internet. But I actually think it's a shame that these people have ruined their lives. And actually, I'm going to combine this suggestion with the next suggestion, because the next suggestion was from at someone or other. Oh, there he is. Oops, sorry. Flick that aside. Was from at Philip wanted me to do a joke about swear jars, right? I know swear jars are those jars where every time somebody swears in a school or something like that, they have to put some money in the swear jar, right? I think this is what we need to do, right? When a young person like these two people have been an idiot, I don't think expelling them makes the world a better place at all, right? They're just going to be unemployed or have a useless future. It doesn't help black people. It doesn't really help the world, right? We might feel good for a second because we punished them, but no, man. I think what we need to do is we need to apply the swear jar kind of logic, right? We need to make them work it, right? So if you say something racist, make a racist TikTok, they need to make you work for a charity which helps black people, right? Make them do community service. I don't know if this is necessarily funny, but I think this is what we need to do. We need to have a being a dick tax, right? If you've been a dick, instead of just shaming you, we take it out of your wages, right? And we can make it a scalable thing based on what you are. So if you're rich and you're a dick, if you do a rich tweet and you're a dick, we charge you a few million, right? But if you're a student, right, we just make you work it off. I think this is the way to go. Dick tax. Also, I want this in place because there's a very high chance I'm going to offend people at some point in my career. So I would like a dick tax in place. So anyway, that's what I've got to say about that. Hope you enjoyed your joke about racism, and Philip Earlham, your joke about the swear jar. I combined them. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is we're going to have a little interval. Let me see if my little interval graphic works. Hello? Clearly, my intermission was a waste of time because the intermission creates no sound. Oh no! I thought it would be a fun little thing, but no, clearly the intermission meant no sound. I was just saying hello to people. I was thanking Jackie Kashi, who donated $250 and saying that you can suggest any subject and I will put it on tomorrow's list of things I write jokes about. And I was just saying thank you to all you people for being here. My intermission did not work because I thought the intermission was just going to play a silly intermission tune, but clearly it just blocked out all sound. But hey, this is me producing my own show every day. I learn a new lesson. Thank you for sticking around, people who didn't leave when the sound cut. Robin Green says, me talking to myself was the best joke of the night. Yes, only audience members who can read lips actually knew what was going on. Oh, well. I had no idea, Robin Green. I should have pretended that I did. Hello, Rachel Safi. So good to have you back in the house. My supermodel friend is in the house. Okay, let us keep going with the second half where we have more suggestions and there will be no sound. Oh, okay, excellent. I was so in the zone talking to myself. I was even explaining why I don't do accents. I was hitting some truths. But either way, I'm glad you appreciated the jokes. And I'm glad you think that being a dick tax is a good idea. Because I think 18's too young to be canceled. You know what I mean? You know when they cancel people, it's too young. You've got so much time in your life to change. So educate them, right? Punish them, but educate them, you know? Anyway, let's move on. Second half, we have got suggestions. So at Martin Dean wanted me to do a joke about restricted item selling. Now, this is probably not true in every country, but in the UK, when you go to the grocery stores, there are certain items where you can only buy a restricted number, like toilet paper, like pasta, like UHT, like long life milk. There's a bunch of things which you can only buy a limited number. And because of the nature of society, if there's a demand for something, a criminal underworld always seizes the opportunity. So I bet there must now be a black market in toilet paper. There must now be a black market in pasta sauce, right? There must be drug dealers you can call and say, hey, can you make a delivery? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? I want the good stuff, man. I want some rolls of toilet paper and some pasta sauce, man. Let's make it happen. It's inevitable when something is a shortage. Also, there must be speakeasies. Speakeasies are like secret places you can go and indulge in the forbidden. So I bet right now somewhere in Manchester, I've not been invited because I've not got the connections, but I bet there's a room you can go late at night, right? And you can tap the door. You can tap a special code and then you walk in and inside all they're serving is pasta and pasta sauce and they've got toilet paper everywhere. I want an invite. I'm a funny man. I'm like half famous. Please invite me. Hope you enjoyed your joke at Martin Dean. The next suggestion is at Philip Earlham. We did your joke. Okay, let's keep going. So at Escudero Cathius Peter wanted a joke about Filipinos. So I started looking into the Philippines and they've come up before in the coronacast comedy show, right? I've previously made fun of the president of Philippines because he is a nutter. Like he's more nuts than Trump, right? He's more nuts. He's the champion. He's the champion of saying ridiculous things. Just a little reminder of some of the things he said. He was angry at the Pope and he said, "Son of a whore, I curse you," right? Another time he threatened a journalist saying, "Just because you're a journalist, you are not exempted from assassination, you son of a bitch," right? He's a totally nut character, larger than life. Some people like him because he's been very hard on corruption. Other people feel like he's extremely misogynistic, horrible human being. Either way, great complicated character. But I bring him up because this week he has offered a $20,000 reward to any Filipino who makes a cure for the coronavirus, right? Now, this is a lot of money, right? $20 million. He's going to have everybody trying to make a cure. I can tell you, if there was a 20,000 pound reward, I would stop writing comedy right now. Right now, I would be in my room with like a little beaker, tossing in chemicals and hoping for the best, trying to solve the riddle of corona. And it's such a bad idea. These are not scientists, right? Who are they going to try their remedy on, right? People want 20 million. They're going to make their weird porridge, mix in like bat's legs and chicken feet, and then they're going to force it down someone's throat and say, are you cured? Are you cured? It's not a good idea. Also, over our long history, there have been so many weird traditional cures, little home brews that have come up. These are a few of my favorite. So, wet spinach behind the ears apparently can cure nosebleeds. Now, why wouldn't you put the wet spinach up your nose? But either way, wet spinach behind the ears can cure nosebleeds, right? Papaya juice and milk apparently will make a woman's breasts bigger. Now, this is clearly nonsense, but just in case, I'm going to give my girlfriend nothing but papaya juice and milk for the next month. And then other ones, which are like this, basil. You take fresh basil and you stuff it up your bottom if you are constipated. Who came up with these cures? How did they discover this? Who was sticking basil up their bottom anyway just for fun and was just like, woo, I'm not constipated anymore. A cure! And I also hope, imagine one of these Filipinos, imagine one of them actually discovers the cure to the coronavirus, right? And it's something like chicken's eyes in a dustbin while playing a trumpet. It's a bad idea. I'm not sure about the end of that joke, but I enjoyed telling it. Next up, we have got a suggestion from Sean Alexander. I feel like there were more jokes. Am I really on the last two? I need to go off screen. I'm not disappearing. I need to read the list, which is all over there on the side, and just make sure I've not lost one of these cards. No, we've got two left. We've only got two left. Okay. Who knew it was going to be so quick? Oh, it's a half an hour show. That's still a show. Okay, either way. So let's do the penultimate one. The penultimate one, then I'll take a look at the comments, this time with the sound on, have a little bit of interaction, and then I will do the final joke of the day. So, Sean Alexander asked me to do a joke about self-isolation for introverts, right? Now, introverts used to be special. If you don't know what introvert is, an introvert is a person who prefers to be alone. They don't like being around lots of people, and they just look into themselves, right? But because everyone's under lockdown, introverts aren't special anymore, right? Everybody is in lockdown. Everybody's not seeing loads of people, right? And you would think maybe introverts are having a ball of a time, but they're no longer special. And everyone likes to feel special. So I think introverts, you now have to go one step further, right? You have to now just chill out in your bathroom, right? Because all of us are chilling out in our flats all alone. You need to be alone in your bathroom or alone in the closet, right, to get the extra credit for being introverted. But now this is a moment where I'm not going to be a joker and just be serious for a second and say the actual thing is, even though you might think introverts are having a ball of a time, a lot of introverts are probably more lonely now, because the thing is, a lot of introverts don't necessarily have the social skills to reach out when they're feeling sad, right? So a lot of introverts may be depressed now and not really comfortable with calling people and saying, hey, how are you doing? Can you just give me I need a pickup. So please, people, if there are any people in your life who you know are shy, who you know are not good at socializing, please give them a call, right? Not if they don't like you, don't just stalk them, but, just give them a call. So back to the final joke. But before the final joke, let me take a look at the comments. Okay, hello. Let's do this. Okay, here we go. Okay. Hello, Kawaii, you piece of shit. Hello. I'm glad you enjoyed the Kellogg joke. I enjoyed the Kellogg joke too. Hello, British Ahmed, who is watching from Dubai. Hello. I'm glad you enjoyed the tax joke. We do need one. Excellent. People are still talking about the fact that my voice disappeared. Restricted items. I need to enjoy hand gel, toilet paper, porn, and knives in the same joke somehow. Porn is restricted? One for all. Where are you living? Porn is very available right now. And knives are restricted. I guess that makes sense, but I didn't realize you couldn't buy lots of knives. Okay, let's keep going. Can I make a joke about Trump? Abdul Basit 434. I make so many jokes about Trump. He's suggested every day. So what I'm doing, so it's not just the Daliso Talk About Trump show, is twice a week or something, I'll do Trump jokes. But I don't want him to suck all the air because he loves it when people talk about him. So sometimes the best thing to do with someone like that is not talk about them. Okay, what else do we have? So Ian Campbell says, I said that about the Philippines president. Try the Belarus president who says they don't need to go into lockdown as vodka and saunas stop the coronavirus. Is he serious? Vodka and saunas. Wow. And I thought that, Jacob Zuma in South Africa with a shower can cure AIDS was crazy. All these people are crazy. They need to hang out together and they need to have vodka, saunas, and showers and sleep unprotected and shake everyone's hands and see what happens. Okay. Excellent. Good. We are over. Thank you so much, everybody. So before I do my last joke, I will just say a big thank you. Thank you for coming to the show. Thank you for watching this show. Thank you for it means a lot that every day I'm doing this and lots of people are logging in because it's keeping me sane because, I'm a comedian. I need to tell jokes and I don't know what I would be doing if I wasn't doing this. If any of you want to support the show, there's a link down below. You can type and you can tip. No amount is too small. No amount is too huge. If you tip £1, that's great. If you tip a lot, like the person who tipped 250, thank you so much. Very appreciated. It will go to buying toilet paper and hand sanitizer 100%. I will be here 9 p.m. GMT every day. If you enjoy the show, please share and tell a friend. Okay, here we go. Final show is at Joe Bates wanted a joke about my hat. Now to explain what my hat is on Instagram and on Twitter, I am wearing a Pith helmet. If you don't know what a Pith helmet is if you ever watched any of those movies with the British colonialists, where like Zulu or something like that, the British colonialists used to wear those helmets, right? Those helmets, those pointed helmets are called Pith helmets. And I had one which I was wearing because I did like a photo shoot when I was doing my radio show because I was doing lots of jokes about colonialism. So the idea was me in a Pith helmet. Now, my joke about Pith helmet is about, what's interesting about the Pith helmet is it was a fashion choice, right? It was a fashion choice. It was also like maybe it was good in war. If someone hit you, it would protect your head. But it was also considered fashionable at the time. So people used to wear the Pith helmet, walk down the street, feel like they're looking sexy, right? But now, because of all of the years of oppression under colonialism, that hat is now associated with oppression, right? So even though it's just a hat, people associate it with these racist and oppressive things which were done in the past. So for example, when Melania Trump wore a Pith helmet as a fashion accessory when she went to Kenya, which was a colony of the UK, people thought it was very insensitive and accused her of being racist. And isn't that interesting how something that could be fashionable can become perceived as racist just because idiots have worn it and associated it with the horrible things they're doing. So all I'm saying, and my final message from the show is, I know that some of you are thinking in this day and time, right? To protect yourself from coronavirus, you need a mask, you need gloves. Probably would be great to start rolling with a white hood, right? And some gloves Trust me, you can't do that. The KKK ruined it for all of us. You can't even just wear a pointed hat now that it would be good. Right now, KKK gear would protect me from corona. But I can't wear it because you racists have ruined it. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching the coronacast comedy show. I will be back tomorrow. Fare thee well, and thank you for staying through the loss of sound. Ciao. Bye.